Thanks for sticking with me. This is the final part of my video.
Own businesses. All right, so we use a company called Eagle Eyes to do some of our transport services.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're using some black-owned companies to work with, and even the people who are going to be building out our space are people who are own, black-owned businesses.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. And I also want people to understand this is a over $1 billion industry in the state of Massachusetts.
Exactly.
400 million was spent through April, so that tracking forward will be 1.2 billion. And so this is, I know people like to do the little chuckle, little joke, and all that other stuff. This is a legitimate, really to me, that the next gen industry that you're going to see startups and innovation happening in this space. And I think it's mandatory that black folks are involved.
Yes.
That we not only are working in the industry, which we don't actually occupy enough space there, as less than 20%, but also that we actually own, and that we were actually able to generate wealth and generational wealth from this space. So that's why I'm there.
While you're reaching back and helping to bring others along.
So I've been able to do that, and I'm really excited. A couple of the folks that I've worked with actually already have their stores. Their stores are even open before mine. So there's a gentleman, he's the youngest black man in America with a cannabis shop.
Is this so?
Brother's name is Shayun Adeji. You should actually interview him. It'd be great to interview the brother. But I'm really proud that I was able to set up funding for him, so he was able to get the dough that he needed to be able to open his business. In addition, I have a couple of other folks that we've worked with who are now opening their own. So that gives me a great deal of pride to be able to be a springboard or a platform for other people to be able to participate in the space. And this is before we open, so once we actually have the financial resources, we plan on doing that, as well as building out additional stores. So we have one store now. We're looking to open 2 additional stores, as well as a cultivation facility, which would mean that we would actually get to grow this, I believe, life-saving plant.
I'm just trying to imagine, envision all of that. You're really doing some big things, and I want to emphasize or highlight that how important this is, because once again, as I've mentioned before, and most folks I feel like know, you often hear about the challenges that black people have in the city of Boston, especially when it comes to opening up businesses, getting licenses that folks may need. And here you are, not only opening, you're in Faneuil Hall. Folks, that is key. That place sees just as many visitors as Disney, if not more. Right, so it's an awesome location to be in. Once again, referencing back to my first episode, that Faneuil Hall area, right, that's down in the downtown area of Boston, that is predominantly white area, right? So blacks are not living in that area in that way. So I love the fact, though, that you are very mindful that, yes, even as a black owner, you don't need to be in only your community, that you should be able to be in others, because I want all of us to recognize that this is our entire city. This is all of our city. So not just our neighborhoods, okay to represent, but you definitely want to make sure that we're venturing off into other spaces as well, so that we have our presence there. And then, of course, the reaching back. Definitely couldn't speak enough about how you're doing that. And reaching back for other people of color and women, because you also had just recently helped some women as well, correct?
Yeah. So we got an amazing group. They have the best name. It's called the Boston Garden. And so
I like it. The little homage to the old Boston Garden. Yeah.
So it's a mother and daughter team, and we were able to connect them with a really great partnership. So it is about paying it forward.
Yes.
And interestingly, in cannabis culture, you typically pass it.
Yeah.
And it is.
No.
Yes.
Pass.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I know. You must have read.
If you don't know,
she read that somewhere, right? So it is a culture that is about making sure that people are connecting with one another. And so the flip side of this, though, is that it is a real business. So when you look at the business that Apex Noir, which the 150 State Street Faneuil Hall space, as you noted, there's 18 million people who come to Faneuil Hall annually. It's the seventh most visited actually tourist location in the world, right? And so we are going to build a very profitable business there. One of the things that we also are doing, and actually we'll be launching very soon, is an opportunity for regular people to invest. So most people
like us.
regular folks, people who make under $200,000 a year, people who have under $1 million in net worth. So typically, when these investments happen, people aren't able to invest because you have to make a lot of dough to be able to get in and quote unquote risk a lot of money. And so we are doing a crowdfund on a Boston-based website called Mainvest, which is a crowdfunding platform. And so it will allow people to invest in this business, my Apex Noir furniture reparative business, for $100 or more, and it will give people an opportunity to, well, basically what we're going to do is you get 1.8x of your return. So hypothetically, put in $1,000 over the course of 5 years, you'll get $1,800 back. So this is, and by the way, this is SEC and FINRA and all those other things. So this isn't like, you're not gonna have to sell soap to your family or any other stuff. This is just so. The website mainvest.com will host us, and it will give people in our community an opportunity to participate, which is also very important. We need to think about investing. We need to think about how we can make our money work for us, which is typically the way that people build wealth and are able to pass on wealth in our community. So that's another piece that is actually very important to me, and it's consistent with the mission and vision of what we're trying to do at Apex Noir.
So before we wrap up, how do you respond to folks who, because the cannabis industry is still one that I feel like is surrounded by some controversy, right? And especially even within our community. And I know my mom certainly was like, marijuana, legalizing it, and all these businesses. But right, she's old school, and so I'm like trying to talk to her and get her to understand how beneficial it can be, not only just medicinally, right, but just the fact that, like you said, bringing people together, thinking about how too many of our young folks who have been criminalized and incarcerated behind this, and now here we are legalizing it. Well, it wasn't really us. We all know who it was. But the point is, it's definitely still surrounded by some controversy. And then with you being a former city councilor, like, have you encountered any of that, and how are you working through it?
Yeah, so, the funny thing is when there's people have all kinds of ideas about what you should do with your life, but when it comes down to this, I believe it is critical that Black folks take a leadership role in this space, and I will lead by example here. It is also critical that we break cycles of poverty, and when we look at how individuals and their families have been able to build wealth and pass it on, it's typically either through real estate, through insurance, or through enterprise in terms of people having a business. And so when I look at Netta, which is the one in Brookline, that company sold for $800 million to the Wrigley family, the Wrigley gum family.
Whoa.
So I'll be damned if people turn their nose down at me for one, providing people. I was in pharmaceuticals. They still make OxyContin. They still make Percocet. They still make Vicodin. They still make Dilaudid. And there's a CVS or a Walgreens on almost every corner in our neighborhood and community. And they still fill those prescriptions today and every day moving forward. Right. We are providing people with an opportunity to treat any scale of ailments that they have. But also, let's make, there's a liquor store. If you look in Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan, there's a liquor store almost on every block in those communities. And so, and what I would submit is, it is absolutely critical that our folks don't take don't play second fiddle in this space. We have, as a community, experienced the most impact in terms of people being locked up,
Yes.
dying, killed, and persecuted over this life-saving plant. A plant that actually can help people with issues of sleep, with issues of anxiety.
Yes.
There's a company called GW Pharma that makes a drug called Epidiolex. Epidiolex cuts pediatric seizures for kids who have epilepsy by 50%.
That's
Right?
amazing.
And also understand, let's go back, I just need to do a little science lesson. One of the most prevalent systems that you have in your body is the endocannabinoid system. You have a system in your body, yeah, right? But what it means is you can't take your fern and dry it out and smoke it and have anything happen to you.
Right.
So your physical body is actually set up to interact with cannabis, right? And so I had to say this to the sister at church, because it was trying to tell pastor on the brother, he's not a city councilor anymore.
Right, get the devil out here.
And so that's a critical component. But the other piece is the war on drugs was a failed war on black folks, on poor people. And through Nixon was on with people they considered hippies and the like.
Right.
They
Yes.
used it as a wedge issue politically to incarcerate folks who had specific political opinions. And so then you go back to Reefer Madness, the movie that basically was Birth of a Nation infused, an infused Birth of a Nation
Right.
infused with marijuana, where it basically said that white women are going to have, that Kim and Kanye were going to happen. And
I love it.
Right? So all of these fallacies are out there. What we do know is that people are consuming and will consume cannabis. It's happened over
Always.
the past couple thousand years. It is critical that people are able to get safe product,
Absolutely. Yes.
predictable product that is tested, and it is much better to have it have people have the opportunity to go through dispensaries and not also potentially fall victim to, again, a system that would derail their life. So I'm very happy and proud to be able to be in this space. So that's a critical component. And I'm also happy to be able to help others to participate in this space.
Awesome. Thank you. This was a nice little road, a little trip down memory lane, kind of getting to see, learn how you began, right? So from your past, as well as to the present, and now what's coming to your future.
Yeah.
So folks, I found another Black Bostonian. I'm not the only one. I know the first 2 episodes have been all about me doing all the talking, but there are more of us out here, and I look forward to being able to.
I found one. I found one.
I look forward to introducing you all to more folks like Tito. But before we wrap up, can you just remind folks once more the name of your company and the location, and when should they anticipate paying you all a visit?
Yep, so Apex Noir, APEXNOIRE.com. It's 150 State Street, so we're right around the corner. Y'all know that clock tower down there called
Yes,
Custom
yes,
House?
the Custom House.
So right across the street from the Custom House, and you can visit us. We hopefully will be open by Valentine's Day. Our brother's hopeless romantic, so y'all can come and get a little accoutrement for the person that you love. So
you all might be bringing some couples together.
that's
Who knows?
it's
what might
all
happen
about.
here.
It's all about people loving to love people. No, but yeah. So and so we also love for you to jump online on mainvest.com. And we'll have a link at Apex Noir also for people to see how they can actually invest. I believe as a community, as I said before, no one's coming to save us. And I like to say the cavalry is not coming, even though I like the old school cowboy movies. So you don't need like the cowboys are coming over the ridge. Then they're gonna have the cavalry's coming. So that's not coming. The cavalry's not coming. All of the people that we need to save us are to our left and to our right.
And
They're
in the
not-
mirror.
In our mirror, and in our families, in our communities. And those people who are closest to problems are the ones who actually have the solutions.
Mhm.
And so we need to look within, not outside, in order to find those solutions. And the last piece is that we have to remember what Frederick Douglass said. And he said, "We are one, our cause is one, and we must help each other if we are to succeed." That is, to me, the thing that we all have to realize. I don't win by beating Tawanya. Tawanya doesn't win by beating me. It's really about all of us,
Absolutely.
or none of us, actually being able to move forward and do better. Or if we continue that Governor Patrick used to tell us, we have to turn to each other
Yes.
in the difficult times and not on each other in those difficult times. And I hope that your listeners will hear that and also use each of us as resources so we can actually help each other.
Enough said right there, y'all. I'm dropping the mic.
Since this recording, Apex Noir will open at a later date.